Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a new season, well, a new round for TnB, starting at the GT Sport tonight, 1.5 hour endurance, starting off in Italy, at the Autodrome Lago, Maggiore. Going to be an interesting season. Going to be seeing a lot of changes. There we go at the start, a rolling start. Seems like everybody's gotten away. Captain Ice away at the front. He leads from DW, followed by Fossey, followed by the judge. Then in 5th place we have Monet. In 6th place, Nuclear Monkey. Everybody seeming to get away cleanly on lap 1. Was for round 1. We have a 1.5 hour endurance in LMP1 cars. And as we go through the season, we're going to be seeing different cars, different tracks, and I think we're going to be seeing some really interesting ones along the way. It's a good one to start with, though. At the frontier, battle seems to be forming. 1st, 2nd and 3rd all coming up awfully close. This slight battle between 2nd and 1st is allowing Fossey to catch up. It's a nice with the fastest lap of the race so far, 140.6. See how that lap tumbles in the next hour and a half. Side by side down the inside, very nicely done, and more importantly both cars managing to keep all 4 wheels on the tarmac, and nobody's sustaining any damage that I can see. Third place we have Fossey. Just 2.5 seconds adrift to that battle in the front. So far having a solid race, keeping it clean. 4th place Monet, and another one of the Audis. Popular car for tonight's race. Really liking delivery on that Nissan. In 6th place at the back, we've got Nuclear Monkey, also in one of the Audis, not having as much fun as some of his teammates. But as we know, it's an endurance race. And anything can happen, and it usually does. And back to our leader, DW, in 1st place and opening up that gap now quite substantially, up to 1.9 seconds. Actually, 2 seconds is a lot more than you think on that LMP1 car. It looks a lot further on track. Captain Ice in second, now 2.8 seconds adrift of the leader, and starting to come under pressure from Fossey in third place. That gap just 0.4 of a second. Now Fossey has received some sort of penalty. So he's going to lose a bit of time here as he slows down, when he slows down. So a battle between 4th and 5th. Only 6th place Nuclear Monkey having a bit of a lonely race for the time being. Everyone else involved in some sort of battle. Captain Ice now starting to close that gap. Went up to 2.9 seconds, and now it's just 1.2 again. Maybe just having a off lap or two. Maybe playing with the fuel mixture. W in first place, Captain Ice in second place, and this battle is it's just half a second now. So not quite sure what allowed Captain Ice to catch back up. Seems to be a battle at the front on lap 5. Long way to go, and both drivers here should remember that. No need to get into any risky altercations. Endurance is a race about time. Sitting across the sector there, so he is pushing. Captain Ice letting him know he's there, sticking the nose on the inside, but running out of room. Time being, that fastest lap is still Captain Ice, that 140.6. Now he's coming back. He wants the lead of this race. As we get further on into the race, it will unravel to become quite interesting. who's on what compound of tyre, who's using up their tyres faster, who might be in rich mix and using up a lot of fuel. So pit stops are going to come into this, and obviously refueling. It's a very long and complex race. Fossey at the moment still in third, having a really solid race. Second place Judge, first place DW. Battle has not let up, and look at that, he goes around on the outside. And he retakes. Let's have a look at Nuclear Monkey going around in 6th place. Doesn't seem to be struggling. Maybe just having more of a rough time of it in the beginning of the race. But looking good for now. Fifth place is the Judge in the Nissan. Fourth place Monet. He's had the Judge behind him most of the race. Close behind him in his mirrors. Doing a good job to stay out of that battle, keeping a good gap. Between 1 and 1.5 second gap. Going up into third, we have TnB. Can't tell you what happened there, I'm not sure, but he's in third, and he's lost a considerable amount of time. So maybe later on we can ask him about that. When he's having a lengthy refuel. Second place Fossey. Mentioned earlier he was having a solid race. That's what happens when you just, if you might not be the fastest, but keep the car on track, and you may pick up positions from other people's mistakes. But not sure what happened there with DW. We'll want to start closing that gap to second. That's left Captain Ice in the lead of the race. 13 seconds in the lead of the race. Having a look at some of the drivers with the fuel. As you can see, very different amounts in the fuel tanks. Well, actually between 4th, 5th and 6th it's pretty much exactly the same. And there, Captain Ice, you can see he's obviously been pushing. He's got slightly less. DW going around on a full tank. That would explain a lot. Apparently I missed that. Probably not one of the easier tracks to drive an LMP1 car around. Not those straights you want. More like 17 corners. It's too many corners for me. Quite a lengthy track, as you can see by the lap times. It's approximately 5.8 kilometers, so not a small track. I think in F1 terms it would be probably in the top 5 of the biggest tracks. So on lap 10, Captain Ice still in the lead, leads by 16 seconds. He leads from TnB DW, who seems to have already made a pit stop. It's on fresh tyres, so he'll be quick. Fossey in third place. Tyres beginning to look a bit tired. Maybe just dropping off the pace. Then Monet and the judge. Tyre wear and fuel consumption practically identical. And also pretty much the same for Nicola Monkey in 6th. To have found some stability there in 6th. The gap seems to be stabilizing, and hopefully he can make some inroads. He's in the pits now. Nuclear Monkey comes into the pits. To be careful in the pits, you can make some mistakes, and I think he did. Yeah, he did. He just pressed the X all the way. So he's come out on what appears to be the same tyres. The tyres are still worn, and they haven't put any fuel in the car. So not a good pit stop. Seems like everybody is setting purple sectors everywhere. Obviously, a bit of a glitch. So the fastest lap has not changed. Still Captain Ice, a 140.648. Nobody's been able to get close to that. Captain Ice is in the pits. He has to have quite a lengthy pit stop. Get some fuel in the car. And he's got a fresh set of tyres and a full tank. And he rejoins the track in second place. 14 seconds adrift. So that's your new race leader. TnB DW leads by, you can call it 15 seconds. Now, Monet in the pits. Everybody coming in at similar times. DW was the first one to come in though. It seems to have worked in his favour. And as I say that, I shouldn't have said that. And I shouldn't have tuned in. Apologies. Spins around, not really sure what happened there. When I tuned in, he was just facing the wrong way. But that gap has come down substantially because of the spin. I can tell you it was 15 seconds. It's now 3.7. I can tell you the livery looked a lot better at the beginning of the race. He's scratched away some of that artwork. If I have a look at Captain Ice in second place, he'll be surprised to get a glimpse of DW in first place. It's 15 seconds up the road. So that advantage has been cut substantially. Yes, he's still running in third. Yes, running in third place. Half a minute. Well, 30 seconds adrift of first and second. Having his own race, really. But a good race. Go down to fourth place, Mornay, and he's made up a lot of ground on Fossey. Gap is just 2.3 seconds, so he could be challenging for the podium pretty soon. And the judge has fallen back. He's right behind Monet, and now it's 25 seconds adrift. So like I said in the beginning of the race, in endurance racing, things can change very quickly. I've got Nuclear Monkey going around in 6th place. Now I wonder if he knows that his pit stop was useless. He has the same damage on the front right that he had before the pit stop. His tyres are exactly the same and his fuel's almost up. So I hope he knows that. He needs to go in again. And soon. That gap between first and second is stabilized at about 3 seconds now. It's obviously both cars lapping at around the same speeds. After 14 laps, these two are still 2.5 seconds away from each other. Now lots happened at the back since I last checked. Forsy's still in third, but now Monet, who was closing in on that podium spot, is now 16 seconds adrift of third place. It's obviously a spin or something like that, and as I say that, Forsy runs wide off the circuit onto the grass, and again. Should allow Mornay right back into that podium, and as I say that, Mornay goes third. Not entirely sure what happened there. Fossey went off the track, he ran wide onto the grass, came back onto the track and managed to go right over it onto the other side where there was more grass, and then he ghosted for a bit and then rejoined the circuit. So obviously some sort of connection issue. Unfortunately he can't rejoin like in some other games. His car has left the circuit. In front, the order is still the same. TnB DW in first, Captain Ice in second, but that gap now just 0.4 of a second. So will a battle ensue once more? Very nicely done. Down the inside, cleanly done. And he's been quick. He really enjoys the circuit. If things were to finish like this, your podium would be Captain Ice, TnB DW and Mornay. Mornay picked up that third place with the retirement of Fossey. The judge could still battle for third place. He's 24 seconds adrift, and we know how quickly things can change. Just takes a spin, and being a bit clumsy trying to get back on track, and you can lose a big chunk of that gap in no time. Captain Ice got in front with that excellent move down the inside, and now it's beginning to extend that gap. It's up to 2, I'll call it 2 seconds. Now what's the game plan? Who's using what fuel mix? Could be on a richer mix, just trying to get away. DW could be on a more conservative mix. Obviously we've also got to look at tyres. Initially on the first round of pit stops, TnB DW, he was the first one to pit, and clearly Captain Ice is on a much better set of tyres. And as I say that, TnBW into the pits. Keep your finger off the X. See if this is going to, how this is going to affect the gap to Monet. Gap to Monet is DW's left the pits, and that gap is still 53 seconds. So first and second, quite comfortable in their positions. That gap now 26 seconds, and the pit stops between first and second are out of sync. So this could get really interesting. Does that mean that DW is going to have to stretch that last set of tyres, since he pitted earlier than everybody else? Another thing to remember is one shouldn't really take these tyres to the end, because once they begin to pass about 60%, you start to lose a lot of time, and you can stretch them, but when you do make that pit stop, you're just going to take so much longer to refuel, plus you lost all that time on the slow tyres. So not really too much of an advantage unless you're stretching them to end the race. But to stretch a stint, it doesn't always work. Well, not in this category of racing. Obviously, our GTS League Round 1 started today. Season 1 is going to be a multi-tier league, which means we might not see LMP back this season, but we'll see a lot of interesting stuff. We'll be seeing karts, seeing grade 3, we'll be going through all the different categories of car. I believe rally's involved, I believe oval racing's involved. So I think by the time we get to round 10, we would have seen some interesting races and some interesting cars. Also be great to see if the guys get into it, what kind of creative liveries they come up with. Captain Ice still leads this race by 23 seconds. So it has come down, but only slightly. And getting into that zone where he's starting to worry about his tyres, starting to watch that fuel. might see a flurry of pit stops in the next couple of laps. That gap between second and third, 31 seconds now. Monet has found some time. Judge still going around in the Nissan in 4th place. Now getting some blue flags. Blue flags very early. Gap between first and second continuing to come down, 18.5 seconds now. I should tell you, it seems like Johan has damage. He has damage to the front left. So that car's not going to be driving as nicely as he wanted to. And we'll see how long he stays out. Is it worth it to stay out? Doesn't have that much fuel. Tyres aren't in great condition. Should maybe come in and get that sorted out, because the gap between first and second is going to continue to fall. Just 17 seconds now. It was 25. So the gap has come down 8 seconds. See how much longer he can drive with this damage. If he's just going to drive it until the lap he intended to put stop. Follow Captain Ice around the circuit. That gap now just 15 seconds, so continuing to come down. It's lost 10 seconds from its initial timing. And now into the 14 and a half. So it's losing a lot of time with that damage. Tyres aren't in great shape, and he should probably come in. DW on the other hand, those tyres still look in very good condition. The monkey still going around the circuit in 5th place. He's got severe damage to that car. Seems like front left. And what appears to be the dome of the car. That can't be good. Must be very uncomfortable to drive. See, when is Captain Ice going to pit? That gap now just 12 seconds. And now he pits. Maybe a lengthy pit stop. Very low on fuel. And he's going to need some repair work to the front left of that car. TW has since retaken the lead. Captain Ice now has rejoined the circuit, and look at the gap. It's flipped. It's now 16 seconds with TnB DW in the lead. And Captain Ice in second. Leader's been very conservative on those tyres. Just so difficult to predict in endurance racing. There's so many factors and things can change over and over and over. Every time you think you've got an idea of what's happening, something can change. Again, that gap at the front starting to fluctuate. Now 14 seconds. Captain Ice is making up some time. And according to my timing screen, nobody has been able to get that fastest lap that Captain Ice set. Let's have a look when that was set. That was It doesn't say when, but that was right in the beginning of the race. And it was a 140.6. And the closest thing to that is a 141.2 by our leader. In third place, just coming up to lap Nuclear Monkey. Obviously no problems there. As soon as the blue flag comes up, the car automatically ghosts. So getting through without any issues. The monkey in fifth. Not sure if this is something new to him, LMP. If he's more used to an F1 car, then this can be quite tricky at first. The race now just over halfway, half distance. See an 1.5 hour endurance race. Approximately 45 minutes remaining on the clock. Just under. Still a long way to go. Half race distance. So if it's lap 27, we should see, I'd say, at least 50 laps. But I also had a prediction on Tuesday night on an endurance race. At halfway, I predicted the laps, and I was about 5 laps off. Like, really long lap times worth of 5 laps. So you shouldn't trust my maths. Because I somehow worked out that the guys would be an entire 10 minutes quicker. Gap between first and second has come down substantially again, just 6.5 seconds, but Captain Knight does have a penalty. Doesn't seem to have slowed down for it just yet. It's still flashing. He's going to need to slow down for that, and then the gap, which is now 6 seconds. See how that gap is affected. See, I don't know the severity of the penalty. It seems to be gone now. Maybe just tapped off in that long right-hander. Served his penalty. It obviously wasn't a severe one. And another penalty. So maybe just taking too much of the curbs. Too much of the track limits, not sure. But yeah, he's got another penalty. Go back to the front. That gap just 3.2 seconds. Going to be an interesting finish to this race. If these guys maintain their pace and the pit stops are out of sync, I think we're going to have at the end Captain Ice chasing DW on fresher tyres. That's how it appears. Presuming there are no unforeseen dramas. And there's a good example of the tyre wear and the difference between the drivers. As you know, Captain Ice pitted much later than TnB DW, and the tyres are not far apart in condition. Obviously Captain Ice being far more aggressive. See on the tyre usage. Interesting part of the race now, because the battle starts to form again. So you'll probably find it's getting close to the time where DW is going to pit. Feels like deja vu, to be honest. We've seen this before. DW pits first, Captain Ice pits second, comes out with quite a margin, catches up. Last time he got past, DW stops, and the whole process begins again. The leaders now have lapped third place, so first and second in a race of their own. Captain Ice did get past like the last time, but now, like I say, strategy is starting to take shape, starting to take form. And I just think that DW is being more conservative, because he knows he's going to have older tyres at the end. Judge still going around in fourth place, having a bit of a lonely race. Renee's over a minute up the road, and Nuclear Monkey is a couple of laps behind. So he's got a 34-minute drive between him and a guaranteed 4th place. Just needs to keep it on the circuit. Captain Ice is pushing that gap 7 seconds now. This is the time he's got to maximize. He's got to increase that gap as much as he can. Barra's on the vet. DW. Pretty sure his pit stop is gonna come up any time now. Running really low on fuel. Obviously just trying to get everything he can out of that set of tyres. Gap is now up to 9.7 seconds, 9.8. It's increasing as I'm trying to read. 10.5. So, probably see DW coming in this lap. I'm surprised if he didn't. And he comes into the pits with the gap at 12 seconds, which is lower than it was last time. He was very low on fuel. This could be a lengthy refuel pit stop. See how much Captain Ice can increase that lead. DW now back on circuit, and that gap is up to 39 seconds. Obviously Captain Ice is going to have to stop. Captain Ice at the moment seems to be going through his tyres a bit quicker than he'd like. Still have a decent amount of fuel in the car for tyres that are in pretty bad shape. Got to keep our eyes on that gap at the front. 38 seconds. Captain Ice is going to have to stop. Probably, say, in the next 2 to 3 laps. Gavin has joined the room, just a little bit late. 28 minutes remaining on the clock. Captain Ice coming into the pits. Not sure if that was like a last minute decision. Dived into the pits and actually caught a bit of the pit wall. He's going to have to refuel. The gap when he came into the pits was 35 seconds. See how long. Look at that. He's come out in the lead. Now it seems over time, playing the endurance game, DW just by pushing his tyres a few laps further on each stint, that gap is coming down. Captain Ice on fresh tyres, and DW's tyres are 90%, so that difference has come down. Just have Gavin there lighting up our screens with one of his greetings. Captain Ice still in the lead of this race on lap 37. That gap now 12 seconds. That fastest lap from the beginning of the race, the 1:40.6 for Captain Ice, still stands. I told you on the last lap, Captain Ice did get pretty close. It was a 1:40.7. It's the closest And that's the closest anyone's gotten to that fast lap that was set right in the beginning of the race. Might be something interesting to note about the tyre wear and what an effect it actually has. Because that means that the fastest lap of the race was set on a full fuel tank. So as soon as you manage to drop off a bit of fuel, tyres aren't working the way they should. That gap at the front very stable at the moment, 11.5 seconds. Just staying in that region. There's 22 laps remaining. Maybe one more round of pit stops. I think there's one more round of pit stops. If there is one more round of pit stops, then it could come down to that very round of pit stops. Who's going to look after their tyres in this last stint better? Who's going to conserve their fuel in this last stint better? It's not all about driving. There's also a lot of thinking involved, which is probably why I'm not really good at this. Quite fitting that round one of the TnB multi-tier championship, first and second are kitted out in TnB livery cars. Actually, the livery on TnBDW's car is reminding me of an F1 livery. It's around 2008, 2007, 2008 BAR. Very similar. Looks really good. Up to nice little leads, 11 seconds. I keep on wanting to say fastest lap, but unfortunately it's just my screen. It's giving me purple sectors every sector, no matter who I'm watching. There's another one. Just under 20 minutes remaining. It's been a long race. Guys have done a great job. We've only lost one runner, if I'm not mistaken. That was Fossey. Not quite sure what happened there, but I'm pretty sure it was connection related. I've personally raced in a hour and a half LMP1 car race similar to this, and I can tell you, no matter where you finish, if you finish, it's quite rewarding. It did make me realize something else. I have a very uncomfortable couch. On lap 41, clock continuing to run down to 17.5 minutes remaining. Time to start looking at tyres, fuel loads. Are they going to go to the end? If you look at the 2 leaders, looking between the 2 leaders, Captain Ice has probably a slightly heavier car, but their tyres are practically identical. I wonder, with 16 minutes remaining, if you put it in lean, could you reach the end? But how much time do you lose? Between these 2 leaders that have been in close proximity throughout the race, it's really going to come down to that strategy. I haven't been looking at my my comments board on YouTube. It's just the one there, and I'm sorry I missed your question, because it was over an hour ago that you asked what the name of the track was. Cameron, the track is the Lago. I'm going to try to pronounce that. Lago Maggiore. I think that's it. Maggiore. I'm sure it sounds better in Italian. Will be a good start to the championship for all of these finishers. Get some points on the board. Of course, you will be disappointed to have missed out on the points, but don't get too used to LMP1. There'll be a lot of changes along the season. And I actually look quite forward to the round where they find themselves in karts. It'd be quite interesting. Mornay still holding on to third. Looks like he's going to get that podium position. Judge still going around in fourth place. Having a bit of a lonely race. It's been that story for third, fourth and fifth, having relatively lonely races. Judge and Mornay were involved in some battles much earlier on in the race. It seems like maybe a couple of mistakes and a pit stop has separated them by over a lap. So we're going to stay with first and second. Seems like the only possible position change. Third down to fifth. If they keep doing what they're doing, that's where they'll finish. But first and second still up for grabs. Gap just 8.3 seconds. .6 seconds now, that gap. TnB is pushing, trying to close that gap. Lap 45 of the possible, what did I predict, 50? I think I predicted between 50 and, I don't know, 52, 53 at most. As I say that, there's 10 minutes remaining on the clock. Seems like first place could come down to these last 10 minutes. 8 minutes remaining. I think some of these tyres could be touch and go. Be in bad shape at the end of the race. And the story about the fuel is an interesting one. We're going to have to monitor that. Coming back to that gap at the front. Now briefly dropping 6.5 seconds. Seven minutes remaining on the clock. I might be mistaken, but if I'm correct, I think that when the time runs out, you then have one lap after that. I'm not sure if you've just simply finished the lap that you're on. I think there is a final lap. But that we'll have to wait and see. Got the judge in 4th place, making one more pit stop before the end of the race. Nuclear Monkey also in the pits. They don't have to fuel up to the top. Judge gets back out on circuit. It seems like Nuclear Monkey did fill his tank. Lap 48, with 5 laps remaining. Captain Ice is still your leader. DW still in second. Gap is 6.5 seconds. 3.5 minutes remaining, and those fuel levels are beginning to look like they could be critically low at the end of the race. Captain Ice just having the slight advantage on the fuel. And DW having a slight advantage on the tyre wear. Fastest lap that was set on lap 3 or 4 still stands. 140.648. Captain Ice got close to breaking it in lap 37, I think it was. It was a 140.7. Nobody's really got in close, and as I say that, we watched DW go off the circuit. He'll probably be a little bit annoyed in the last minute of the race. Gonna have damage now. Comes into the pits. What does Captain Ice do? Seems to have enough fuel to finish the race. Just needs to nose those tyres around. W back out on circuit, but that gap is now 40 seconds. It looks like Captain Ice may have this in the bag. Don't want to talk too early. Time remaining has come to an end. We're on the final lap. It seems like it's gonna finish the current lap we're on, and that will be it. Fantastic race between the first and second place. Just unfortunate there for DW in the closing moments of the race. But a well-deserved victory for Captain Ice as he crosses the line. I think he'll be happy with that. He's been having a few frustrating races in other formats, and this should feel great. Let's watch DW on his final lap. He's going to go over the line, weaves over the line, seems to be happy with that. That's second place. Car's a bit scuffed up. No need to worry. Won't be using that in the next round. The only man that needs to go over the line to finish now is the judge. As I say that, that's it. We have the 5 classified finishers. And there's your winner. Captain Ice with pole position and the fastest lap. There we have it. Let's see if we can maybe get, if we can just get DW for a minute or two. See how you felt about that race.
Hey Jonathan.
Hey DW, how's it going? You happy with second place?
No.
No, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. You obviously heard the commentary. I thought I had an idea what you were trying to do with the strategy, and it seemed to be working for a long time. And then something didn't. In that final stint, something.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of fuel saving in the last couple of minutes because I was catching rapidly actually.
Yeah.
And then I had to do some fuel saving, and then I made a mistake as well. Then I thought, you know what, just play it safe, just grab second place, and then pitted. But it was basically a battle of the strategies this race. It was actually very nice.
Yeah, it was a battle of the
to Johan.
First and second place. It was a battle of the strategies. I noticed that the other cars all had pretty much major gaps in between and were having races of their own. I believe we've got the winner with us. Johan, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
How did you find the race? You happy with the victory?
Yes, I'm happy with victory. Thank you to the vet. Yeah, pushed me there at times. At start, at one space when he came past me, made me I had to work for it. You know what, the vet. Thank you for pushing me. But yeah, it was a good race in the end. Strategy paid off. Managed to pull the stunts a bit further than the vet, and in the end, I see he had to make a emergency pit stop, I guess. But you know what? In the end, the strategy paid off.
Very nicely done. And feeling a bit better after some bad luck in other formats?
Yes, definitely.
A much needed result. Some upliftment.
Yes. Of course.
Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Awesome. No, definitely.
I'm gonna say my goodbyes here on the stream. Whoever watched, I hope you guys enjoyed. Whoever watches this later, I hope you enjoy. And we'll be back tomorrow night on TnB for F1. Hope you'll join us. That's at 8 PM here in South Africa. It's at 7 o'clock in the UK. And we'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.